When Suho's group was about to start their action, they asked, "What is our plan?" But, Suho himself didn't seem to have thought of that. He then asked Yona if she had any ideas. Yona was pensive for a moment hearing his question, looking at the tower that seemed to be coated by energy. She thought, this iron tower is already coated by magic, so taking it with a whip is not possible. When Nayun looked at the camp and the guards guarding the tower, she saw at least 40 people. She wondered, are they all equivalent to cube cadets? Jong Haack was really dizzy facing this situation. There are only 4 of them. What can they do? In contrast to his frustrated attitude, Yona herself was thinking hard to formulate a plan now. In the hero rank structure, the difference in rank level means that the person is able to defeat 10 heroes at once from a rank 1 level lower than him. Yona felt that the difference in their strength was not that far, except for one person. Yona then turned to that person. That person was of course Suho. She then called Suho, and told him that he needed to attract their attention as much as possible. There would be some who stayed behind, but she was sure that most of them would definitely target him after that. Yona continued to explain, while Suho was buying time for them, they would immediately bulldoze the remaining ones, then they would gather and reduce their numbers. Hearing that, although the plan sounded good, but Nayun was hesitant, she asked, "But wouldn't this plan harm Kim Suho?" Hearing that, Suho smilingly replied no. As Yona said just now, he thought that this was the best plan. After saying that, not giving them time to express their opinions anymore, Suho then got ready, and speedily drove towards the camp filled with enemies. As one of the guards in the camp yawned boredly, he suddenly felt something, but, even before he reacted, his vision suddenly turned black and he lost consciousness. With the mistletoe in his hand, Suho was able to knock down someone equivalent to the cube cadet with just one attack. Suho did not hide his action at all, which made him immediately warn the people who were there. They immediately became alert when they saw that and focused their eyes on him. Seeing that, Hajin and the others who were watching from the top of the cliff then realized that the first step of their plan had succeeded. Not lingering any longer, Nayun, Yona, and Jong Haack then descended from the top of the cliff, and stormed into the camp to deal with the rest. After a while, with a final lash to the head of a bald man, they finally managed to take down the guards around the tower. After taking down the last guard, Nayun cheerfully said that she had done her part. Jong Haack also said that he had also finished, while Yona herself was just silent while looking at the bald man she had successfully overthrown, not realizing her strange behavior. Nayun then asked Jong Haack to take the iron tower. She said that she and Yona would help Suho. Jong Haack understood. After that, Nayun then invited Yona to hurry up. Hearing that, Yona then averted her eyes and said that she understood, and when Yona turned around and headed to Suho's place, the bald man who she thought had lost consciousness suddenly stood up and slashed his sword at her, but, no blood splashed from the slash, only a part of Yona's hair managed to be cut. It was because Yona had been suspicious from the start which made her able to react quickly. She then quickly tied the bald man's head with her whip. Although unharmed, but Yona was very angry at the moment. She angrily questioned the bald man, "Do you know how expensive my hair care is?" Seeing the bald man desperately trying to untie the whip, Yona even thought that she really wanted to smash his head. After all, he wasn't a real person who would care about his death, so she felt that it didn't matter. Amidst the bald man's pleas, Yona slowly calmed herself down. She then released the whip's entanglement and threw the bald man to the ground. With a menacing look directed at the bald man, Yona told him he must understand that the reason why she let him live was only because she didn't want to feel bad after this. After that, Yona was then about to continue her journey toward Suho's place, but, before she could go far from there, she suddenly heard Jong Haack shout calling them. Jong Haack frantically asked them to forget about Suho and immediately come to help him. Ju Parang was there. Seeing Ju Parang who was about to climb the tower and chase him up, Jong Haack then once again shouted for help to them. He really wanted to cry over his misfortune. 2 hours later, they then cheers. They celebrated the success of their mission. They were happy because everything went smoothly. Looking at Hajin who was just sitting there, Jong Haack who was grilling the meat then asked him if he hadn't eaten. Hajin replied no. He thanked him for his offer. He said that he wasn't hungry. When Jong Haack turned his gaze back to the dining table, he then laughed when he saw Nayun and Suho who ate so much. They seemed to be racing to finish the food. Hajin was speechless seeing that. He felt that they were like people who hadn't eaten for several days. But besides that, he was also happy for the success of their mission. He then praised them for their good work. He invited them to do it slowly like today and take the crystals one by one, but Yona suddenly coughed and looked uncomfortable at the moment. Seeing that, Nayun then asked her if she was okay. While coughing, Yona said that she was fine, she was just choking. She felt like she was choking during this meal. Hearing that, Hajin then felt confused, because choking on food containing mana was a very rare case. He suddenly got a bad feeling after realizing that, but what made him confused was, Yona looked healthy at the moment, but when he saw Yona's partially cut hair, he then got a guess. With a feeling of anxiety, Hajin then immediately asked about her hair. Hearing that, with a feeling of confusion, Yona said that her hair was cut off during the fight. Hajin was then shocked to hear that. He could only curse. He realized that he had been careless this time. He already knew that Kim Suho's team would definitely not want to kill their enemy, so he could only blame himself for not warning them. He knew very well what was happening to Yona now. After their fight with Kim Suho's group was over, when the enemies returned to their base, they must have also brought Yona's hair that was cut off. Now, her hair must have been in the cursed sorcerer's hands, and in this situation, the curse they used must be the curse of frailty. Yona felt a little confused. She said that she felt fine. Hajin was silent for a moment. He then told them that the enemy side had a cursed sorcerer. They were then shocked to hear that. Hajin felt that if her hair got into the hands of that person, and this was the result of the curse, then her life was in danger. Nayun gasped at hearing that. She then immediately felt guilty. She had heard that from him, but she felt that it was not something important, so she just forgot about it. Seeing Nayun's expression, Hajin immediately said that he only mentioned it briefly to her at that time, so it was his fault for not explaining it properly to everyone. Even though Hajin said so, but it did not dampen the regret in Nayun's heart. The environment was suddenly silent amidst the gloom that engulfed them. Seeing that, Yona then asked, "Why are your faces so sour? After all, it can't be confirmed if this is indeed the effect of the curse. Also, I have a high magic resistance, so, curses like this can be overcome easily." Seeing her comforting look, Jong Haack then came to her and stroked her head. He told her to tell them if she started to feel pain. Yona's face immediately turned red from blushing when facing that. She shyly said yes. She said that she was sure the pain would not be that great. Jong Haack snorted in annoyance at her answer. There's no way that's true. Hajin could only gape at his actions. He wondered, is that the kind of thing that bad boys do? With anger mounting in his heart, Jong Haack then took his spear and said, "They'll be busy trying to reorganize the places that were ambushed." He then turned to the 5 of them and asked, "So, isn't now the right time to attack other locations and destroy them?" With an annoyed look on his face, Jong Haack asked if anyone agreed with him. Hearing that, Hajin said that Jong Haack was right. If this was really the curse of frailty, then they should not relax. Suho also agreed with that. He then invited them to move immediately. Seeing that, Yona hurriedly said that she also wanted to go, but they certainly would not agree to that. Nayun told her to just rest there. But Yona still seemed unable to accept that. Seeing that, Hajin then gave her words of comfort. "With so many people like this, we will definitely be back soon." He also added silently, "Moreover, Jong Haack has a trait that increases his physical abilities the angrier he gets. It's time for that ability to shine." After they arrived at the enemy's location, Jong Haack didn't even say greetings and immediately ravaged their base. He was like a behemoth that destroyed everything and was unstoppable. They then immediately went to Chunhwa, or better known as Jin Asura, and reported the incident to him. Hearing that, Jin Asura calmly said, "So, they managed to steal 3 crystals in one night." The subordinate who reported the news then immediately apologized to him, but Jin Asura didn't blame him. He told him not to make such a fuss. After all, they already knew their identities. Among them, there were Kim Suho and Shin Jong Haack. They could capture 2 of the cube's best cadets at once. If he gave their heads as an offering, becoming an executive of the evil of destruction won't be too far off. Jin Asura smiled happily when he thought of that. He then ordered his subordinate to collect the remaining crystals and bring them to the city hall. Hearing that, although he felt confused, but he then said that he understood, although collecting all the crystals would weaken the guards in each area, but their side had a cursed sorcerer, so the Jin Asura felt that this was the best strategy. He was sure that kids must not be able to bear to see their friends fall one by one. Jin Asura laughed contemptuously at their stupidity. He then stood up and walked slowly towards the door. In his view, their bond would be the peg of their downfall.